United South Broadway Corporation, promoting community building, youth development, fair housing, and fair lending in New Mexico since 1986. We work with community advocates in 6 key areas: fair housing and fair lending, crime prevention, financial literacy, locally based commercial development, and opportunities for youth. USBC offers free HUD-certified housing, counseling, and legal services to homeowners statewide facing mortgage delinquency or foreclosure. And we offer anti-racism trainings for policymakers. Welcome to United South Broadway Corporation.
Hi, I'm Debbie Norman with United South Broadway Corporation, and with me is Elaine Candelaria, our lead housing counselor. And she's been helping people save their homes for about 20 years now. We help people who are behind on their mortgage payments or in foreclosure in the courts to catch up on their payments and stay in their homes. So Elaine, what do you do when somebody comes in with a letter from their bank saying that they're behind on their payments and they think they're going to be kicked out of their house? What do you tell them to calm them down and tell them, that there are options?
Well, a lot of the individuals coming in are usually scared. So that's why they come to us right away as soon as they start receiving these letters. We let them know that there's still options. They haven't been served with the courts or anything, so there still are options for these clients. We reassure them and we let them know that we'll be able to help them in certain ways. We let them know that there's plans out there, such as modifications, forbearances, and special forbearances, or even repayment plans. We let them know that we would like them to fill out an application for us, only because we need to assess to see where they're at. We need to make sure that they're financially well and that they can actually pay for their monthly payment. And in fact, if they even want to keep their home. So we just let them know that they still have time and there's plans out there and there's a lender out there that is willing to help them.
So how long does it take? Let's say somebody wanted to apply for one of these plans. You've evaluated them, their finances, and determined that they'd be qualified for one of these plans. So how long does it take to go through that process usually?
It can take up to at least 30 to 45 days.
Oh, okay.
And that's only going smooth. If they ask for different documentation or other things that need to be brought in, then it takes a little longer. But the lender should only have the applications in their hands for at least 30 to 45 days.
So that's if someone wants to keep their home. What if they don't want to keep their home or they just can't afford to keep their home? What do they do then? Can they sell their house? What can they do?
Yes, there's a steps that they can actually take. The first step is probably selling their home on their own to see if there's any equity that they can get in their home, which means that the equity means that there's money getting back to them once they do sell their home. Or if they're in an upside down loan, they can actually do a short sale. A short sale means that they're selling the home for less than they owe the loan. And then there's such things as a deed in lieu where they sign the deed over to the lender, and there's cash for keys, which means that if they do qualify for cash for keys, the lender is willing to give them up to, I think, $1,500 to $3,000 to go through their next step. Like if they're going to need it for a down payment on something else, or they're going to need it for rental or whatever the case may be.
Okay, so there are a lot of options all along the way. That's good to know. So you've described what a housing counselor does. You assess their financial situation. You help them with the documentation. All along the way, you help them talk to the lender. And are there other things that you would do for a client? For example, I don't know. Tell me.
Yeah, we would. We would call lenders.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the hardest part for a client versus working with the lender is the communication. There's a gap. And they don't just speak to the same person all the time. They speak to different individuals on whether their loan is approved or whether they need other documentation. They don't know who to speak to, and they usually get scared. So basically, our role is to fill out the paperwork for them, make sure that all the documentation is submitted and accurate, And we're the liaison between the clients. We make sure that they don't fall into these problems, that it is smooth, and they're able to get some kind of assistance through the lender if they qualify.
Okay, well, that sounds very helpful. I have a kind of a hand to hold while you're going through the process.
Exactly.
Yes. So Elaine's been talking about what a housing counselor can do at United South Broadway, and we also have our Fair Lending Center, which has attorneys who can help if a person is served for foreclosure in the courts. In other words, if you've missed 3 payments and the lender sues for foreclosure, then our attorneys can help income qualified homeowners with that. And we can help homeowners learn how the foreclosure process works, what you need to do, what your lender is supposed to do. And even during the court process, you have the option of working with a housing counselor who can help you still try to keep your home, even though you're in court. And being in the court process is a good thing. In New Mexico, you have the right to due process if you are sued for foreclosure. In a lot of states, there is no due process. The lender just hires a trustee who tries to get you out of that home as expediently as possible. So we have a process here in New Mexico where you can try to work with your lender and keep your home. Once you've gone through the court process, hopefully you will be able to keep your home. But what if you can't? What if you lost your job, you haven't got any income? Then you might need to think about one of the options Elaine was talking about, like selling your home. And the bank has to go to the court and get a notice to vacate if they do want to remove you from your home. So that's one part of the process. And if you don't leave the home after that, then they can get a writ of assistance from the court. And that means that the sheriff can come out and actually remove you. But that's way far along in the process. And you're going to be getting notification of this all along the way if you're participating in the process. So there's one other thing that homeowners need to be aware of during the foreclosure process, and that is scams. If your home is in foreclosure, that's a public notification, it's a public process, so people out there find out about it. And you'll start getting offers to buy your home, and a lot of those are legitimate. But there'll also be scams, and maybe Elaine can tell you a little bit about that because she's heard a lot of these stories from clients. Mm-hmm. So let's tell people what they need to watch out for.
The individuals need to just watch out for someone who's going to promise them something and ask for cash in return. You don't need to pay anyone any cash to help you with any kind of assistance to try to save your home. You have to watch out for individuals that ask you to sign the deed over, because if you're signing a deed over, you're still responsible for the actual loan. So if you get any individuals like that, or anyone saying that they can do something for you, which you probably think they can't, you need to get some kind of help, whether it be with your lender or whether it be with an attorney.
Okay, or they could ask a housing counselor.
Exactly.
If you're working with them, they could ask you,
yes,
does this look legitimate or not? Okay.
And we usually know what's legit and what's not. So yes, they can.
Yeah, and that's a good thing.
Yes.
And then you can also check with the Attorney General's office here in the state of New Mexico as well. But the bottom line is, if it sounds too good to be true, it's probably not true. And always check before you sign anything or take any steps if someone offers to help you out of your foreclosure. Thank you very much, Elaine. This has been very helpful, and thank you.